And we're here. By the time you all hear or see this, I am going to be in the middle of what I am dubbing Hermit Girl Summer, which is some deep rest, me getting to know myself a little more, me befriending myself in a way I have not prior, and resting and staying off social media and the fucking garbage dumpster fire rabbit hole addiction thingy that is. Um, so yeah. And as you can tell, as you may see, well, if you're not seeing this on YouTube, then you're not seeing it. But today I have brought with me the one and only. You can call her Kari. I'm gonna call her baby. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Um, so on this episode, we're gonna be talking about rest. And we've brought some friends along with us, baby. Who did you bring?
I brought Jax. Jax. Jax.
Jax. Not to be
Yeah,
confused with Jack.
correct.
Yeah,
He
different
is
name.
he is of the Jack family, but they all their names. We have a lot of Jacks, but this
Yeah,
one specifically is Jax.
Jax. Got
Yeah.
it. This one here is Gregorian Bartholomew Luscious Barissimo the third. We don't talk about what happened to the first two. And this has been my good stuffed friend for about a decade, probably a little more. Um, yeah. So he is also in need of rest. If you see his head, it just falls right over because he's just so tired, as a lot of bears are. Uh, but yeah, let's hop into the thing. I am going into rest mode, which is why, again, by the time you hear this, I'm actually gone. I'm not even here. This is the end of season one, by the way. Said that at the beginning. This is right. This is all a mirage. I don't actually exist right now. Oh my God, how did I forget to mention? This is also the last episode of season one. Season one is a wrap by the time you hear this. We're dancing. Again, if you're not on YouTube, you can't see it. So I suggest you go see the video. But yeah, speaking of all the things, baby, what were you taught about rest? What lessons did you learn about rest growing up? Or what weren't you taught about like rest growing up?
Rest happens when you die.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
yeah. That's what I was taught about rest in a nutshell. Yeah. I remember like when our parents would see us resting, it was like, what are you doing? Like 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 why are you just sitting there? Um so it was like we got to do something. And that's when I was little, because I remember when I got to my teenage years, I would just close the door. So I was like, I can't. I can't be like, I'm doing homework.
Doing homework, wink, wink.
Yeah,
Also, just leave me alone. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That resonates. I think I was raised with the same thing, like always to be achieving something, to be doing something. Um like being productive meant you were doing, I don't know, good. And if you were not doing something or not being productive, then you were lazy, which means you were bad. And we don't want to be bad. So resting became like a personality defect. Like something is wrong with you if you're resting, something is wrong with you if you're quote unquote lazy, if you're not working, if you're not doing something all the time. And I mean, I still see that. Like me and my mom always get into it when, for example, she'll she'll call me and my niece and nephew are at the house or something like that, and she's like, "They're just on their phones. They're not doing anything." I'm like, "What what do you need these children to do exactly?" Like,
Yeah.
they're is there a task that they didn't complete? Is there like it's Saturday. It's Saturday. It's fine that they were up till 3 in the morning. They don't have anything to do. They haven't, no, there's no mess for them to clean up after themselves. Like they're just being.
Yeah.
But you know what? See, we're just gonna go off in tangents, right? Like the whole being on the phone thing to me at one point was like, oh, I'm resting, I'm letting my brain go to mush. But I don't know that being on my phone like that is rest. Actually, no. Being on my phone as an act of rest, as a quote unquote act of rest, doesn't resonate with me anymore. It doesn't feel like rest anymore. It feels like more anxiety
Mhm.
and more stuff to do. How do you feel about that though?
So before I answer that question, I was
Mm-hmm.
listening to what you were saying, and because of our, um, why am I forgetting words?
That's okay.
Because of our, how we
Upbringing?
were raised, yes, upbringing, programming. You said, yeah, like, because when you're being productive, it's like positive and blah blah, and when you're being unproductive, you're being lazy, and it's like the fact that we think rest is unproductive in itself
Oh,
is
hmm,
like, it just goes to show, right?
facts.
Like, because that came out so naturally from you. And like
Right.
for most of us, we're like, oh yeah, well, I was so unproductive today. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything. I just laid in
Yeah.
bed and like read a book. Oh my God. And so it's
Yeah.
almost like a shame thing, and like you feel guilty, and
Yeah.
um yeah, and rest is productive. Like it's
Facts.
so necessary. So,
No, but let's go even deeper than that. Why does rest need to be productive?
well, because rest is necessary. Like,
Right, right, right. But I mean like why do we need to assign productivity even to rest in order for it to be good?
mm,
Like when we say even rest is productive, it's like produce nothing. I'm just trying to be. Like why can't we just be?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if you think about, like, when people go to the gym, right? And you go to the gym, if you go to the gym every day, it's it's not good for you, because when you're going to the gym, when you're working out, you are you're basically breaking down muscle, right? When you rest, that's when the growth happens. That's when your muscles start to repair, and that's when you start seeing the fruit of your labor. So it's like it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
we need that. We need spiritual rest. We need mental rest. We need emotional rest. We need, like you said, social rest. And that looks different for everybody. Like, it's taking a break from your phone. It's deleting the app so that you're not doom scrolling. It's, to some people, it's staying home and being alone and in silence, while to other people it's going out and being around a group of people that make you feel good and uplift you. So it looks different for everybody. Going to
Yes.
the gym is a form of rest, while also laying down in bed is a form of rest. Like, it's all rest. Like, it's particular to each person depending on what that person's lifestyle is on a day to day.
Yeah. You're right. Why do you think, or what messages do you think in particular as girls or women do we get around rest or resting?
Hmm. Um.
I would say I would say for me, there was always this air of something needs to be taken care of or someone needs to be taken care of, and it's us that needs to be doing that. And so there is no time to rest because something could happen. So it's like simultaneously a very nurturing thing, but also it's very steeped in control because at the end of the like at its root it is control and wanting everything to be okay and everybody to be okay and make sure everybody else is comfortable and all that. Like how many times uh, have I been at a dinner table where everybody is eating except for the mom, the grandma, the aunt who was cooking, for example, as a small example. But so it's like that those things are those things have been ingrained in me that we are always working in the background to make sure that everything is okay and peaceful and held together. If not, if not, it will all fall apart. And we always got to be like we have to be on it. We have to be vigilant. We have to be 10 steps ahead. We have to like there is no when can we stop though? When can we pause? When can we rest? When can we sip water? When can I hydrate? When can I have a snack?
Yeah. When can I
But
do nothing?
when can I do nothing?
Yeah. Well, I think that um maybe like 2, 3 years ago there was a oh man, I'm forgetting her name. I believe her name is Dr. Sandra Smith, but she came out with a basically an outline of what rest is. So it was like there's like 7 forms of rest.
Hmm?
Um and it came to my head because you said um how as a woman you're taught to like, make sure everybody's okay, like make sure everything's tidy and clean and everyone's fed and emotional rest I believe would be under like one of the 7 is emotional rest, and emotional rest is that it's like it's people pleasing, like resting from people pleasing, resting from worrying about others, taking care of others. That's considered emotional rest. And it's necessary, like
Yeah.
for everybody, but yeah, especially for women, because I mean, I can say it for myself. I know I do that a lot, and I've been trying to be better at like self-care, and detaching from the people I love that I want them to be okay. Is everything okay? Can I do anything? Detaching from that um uh role, and instead like taking care of myself, tending to myself. And if that means laying in bed a whole day, then that's what that means, but it's good for me, and in the end it's good for everybody that's around you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What would you say your relationship with rest is now? How do you feel about rest? How do you act with rest? What's your relationship to it?
I think I've always had a good relationship with rest. Honestly, I think it's better now than it's ever been, but I know for at least 15 years my Sundays are sacred to me. I It's always been that way. Like I've always told my family and friends, unless you're dying or someone around us is dying, don't bother me. Like don't invite me, don't ask me, don't no, I don't want you to come over. Like I will answer all these questions ahead of time. Unless somebody's dying, please don't bother me. And it's because to me I'm like that's my rest day. I've always assigned Sundays to be my rest day. So a lot of times I'll get phone calls or messages and I don't see them until Monday. Or if I see them, I may like skim them over and I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna answer until the next day because I don't it's the day to detach from like what you're used to doing most of the time.
Yeah.
And it feels so good because then you're so like I feel so revived and like ready to take on the day when I wake up on Monday morning, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah, it just feels really nice. So I mean I think if I were to give an opinion, that would be my opinion. Like take a day, whatever day works for you, to yourself. And whatever that looks like, right? If that means it's Wednesdays that work for you and Wednesdays you turn your phone off and you go for a hike, that's rest. Or you go to the library and you read books for 5 hours. That's
Love a
rest.
library. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Like it could look like anything. Rest isn't just laying down and not doing anything, which again is great too. That's a great form of rest.
Yeah.
That's one of my top forms. If I could choose, that'd probably be like definitely top three.
Yeah. Just be a flat potato. A mayonnaise
Yeah.
potato, if you will.
Love a mayonnaise potato.
Delicious. Oh my God. Um,
Look
shoot,
at
now I lost my train
Jax.
of thought thinking about potatoes.
Look how flat he is.
Be a
He's
flat
always
jacks.
resting. Flat Jax. I love that.
My relationship with Russ has changed a lot since being with you. You just changed so many things, baby. I know, right?
Yay.
Flex. Um, I think you have really helped me to, because you never did it overtly, but you've always been encouraging about me slowing down and
Yeah.
maybe not working 24 hours a day, which is challenging for entrepreneurs that are creating the things as they go. Um, but you've helped me make space for myself to slow down, to stop, to rest, to um I don't know, to just take better care of me. And that in turn has helped to challenge the shame that I still to this day I still feel when I'm resting, because there is still a part of me that is saying you should be productive. You should be making something. You should, or even when I am resting, it's like, okay, you're resting, but it's to gear up for you to do stuff. And it's like, and then there's the other part of me that, as I said earlier, is like, why do I need to rest in order to be productive? What if I just want to rest? What if I just want to be? And what if that's enough? What if it's enough for me to just be? Oh no, not me dismantling capitalism in one podcast episode. Because it isn't just about what we want and desire, right? We live in systems that make it basically impossible for you to like survive if you're not.
Yeah.
It's impossible for you to survive if you're not working, if you're not making money, if you're not quote unquote being productive. And so, like, even as a society, we have agreed, yes, you being productive is a good thing and you being lazy is a bad thing. And if things happen to you because you can't afford it, it must have been because you weren't working hard enough. And it's all a lie.
Hmm.
I mean, even to the point where recently they criminalized homelessness, like, pardon?
Yeah.
Which just reinforces that message. Like,
Yeah.
see, and now it's bad if you are experiencing homelessness. Like, that makes you a bad person,
Right.
is the message that sends.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. And the fact that we even think of rest as a reward, like that in itself is it's not a reward. It's a necessity. Like we need it. Our bodies need it. Our souls need it. Our mind needs it.
Yeah. That lesson
So
was, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Gonna say that very thing that you're saying it was reinforced to me, was reinforced when I was taking my breathwork classes. Your girl is
Mm.
certified for the people at home that don't know. Um when I was taking my breathwork coach classes, I I kept running up against the idea of like how important this is, how vital it is for us to breathe. Obviously, you have to breathe, but I mean becoming aware of your own breath and breathing intentionally and breathing deeply, and how how little we do that, how little we get the chance to even become aware of our own breath and all the things. that are going on around us that distract us even from our own breath. And I kept going back to that because
Mm.
we say things like it's as simple as breathing. I mean, I did a whole podcast episode on it. That we say, oh, it's as simple as breathing or it's as easy as breathing. And it's like, we don't even do that right, though. We're
Right.
distracted even from that.
We're so busy we don't even breathe.
We're
Literally.
facts. Right. Exactly. Exactly. When's the I hope as people are listening to this, they're taking all the deep breaths right now because you need it. Your body needs it. Your emotional state needs it. Your liberation needs it. You need good deep breaths, man. So please
Mhm.
take a nice deep, baby, you want to take a deep breath together? Let's just,
Yeah, let's do that.
all right, cool. Let's do it. Una, dos, y tres. That was nice.
Nice.
That was nice.
Mhm.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg enjoyed as well. Yeah.
So did Jax.
Oh, good. All of that to go to the original point, which was being in this relationship has been really helpful in me dismantling my own shame when it comes to rest. Still proactively dismantling because some of it is still there with,
Yeah.
again, the very real thing of like, you need to make money in order to survive. Um, but it's been really nice because in resting, in slowing down, in moving with the seasons,
Mm-hmm.
in listening to myself. I am more able to listen to myself, actually. Like when we are resting, we can hear ourselves better, which means then we are getting in tune with our emotions more, which means we're getting in tune with our bodies more, which means
Yep.
we're getting in tune with our health more. And the more connected we are to ourselves, the more easy it is to be connected to others, or even on the flip, to know when we don't fuck with others, the more we get to know ourselves. Um, and it just it expands out into everything. I think when and then to go big macro, right? When we have the time to slow down and think about our lives, ourselves, what we're feeling, what we're going through, and then what the people around us are experiencing, going through, and then bringing it out. It's like we can, there's a thread there for me about the more we get in tune with ourselves, the better it is for like our collective liberation and the better it is for making changes to the things around us or completely destroying them. Some things don't need to be reformed, they just need to be destroyed once and for all. Anyway, the uprising. Um there's something there. It's a relationship that like one feeds the other, but if we're waiting for somebody out there, whoever out there is, whether it's our parents, whether it's the government, to like give us permission to be okay, we're never going to get it. And if we're waiting for permission to rest, we're never going to get it. Not with how things stand now. And I think a lot of us are still waiting for somebody to swoop in and tell us, hey, it's okay for you to stop. It's okay for you to take care of yourself. And here's how to do it. And if that's the case, my friend, you're going to be waiting a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a wonderful, healthy relationship where your partner reminds you to rest. That's always good too.
Do I remind you to rest?
Yes. And I
Oh,
love it.
okay.
Yeah. You'll be like, have you taken a break today yet?
Oh, yeah. Not me looking at my watch. I do. And that was a really good reminder of like small, like rest doesn't have to be, I'm gonna nap for 3 hours. It could be, hey,
Yeah. It
you
could be
know,
5 minutes, literally. Yeah.
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 This is true.
I think that's the great thing about rest is that it looks so different for, it's free, it's a right, and it looks, however it looks for you is right. Like there's no right or wrong way to rest, you know? Like I know for me, I know compared to like other people that I know, I rest when I'm alone and in silence and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
whereas I know people that rest when they go out. Like that's a form of rest for them. That's how they refuel their battery and yeah. And so it's like, it's nice that in the world that we live in now, where you literally have to pay for everything, where nothing is free, where you can't even own a home without like paying for owning a home. Like, I'm not talking
Right.
about the home itself. I'm like taxes and stuff. Like, oh, you wanted to buy this? Well, now you got to pay because you wanted, it's like everything is, you need permission, you need approvals, you need everything you need it for anything in this world that we live in now.
Right.
Rest is one of those few things that you don't need permission for.
Right.
And you can get it anywhere you are. You can literally, wherever you are now, if you're sitting in your car and you're parked, you can close your eyes and rest.
Mhm.
It's so simple, but we forget because of the world that we live in. We forget how important it is.
We as humans have a really good knack for complicating the simple things.
Yeah.
Again, even going back to breathing, it's like some people don't even realize how shallow their breathing is, as an example.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the simplest thing, but we don't we don't do that.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
especially in the world that we live in now, like now, today, with everything that's happening, with so much uncertainty and atrocities and
I'm gonna say it,
how
multiple genocides and fascism and the crumbling of the nation as we know it. Go ahead.
and capitalism and patriarchy. Yeah.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's just, it's so important. Like, it's vital. It's like, again, it's, I know, I feel like we keep saying the same thing, but it really is, it's the only way that we're going to be able to survive this. It's the only way. I
Yeah.
think I forget, I don't know who it was, but they were saying that rest is ambitious. So like, when you're feeling overwhelmed, the only cure to that is to do absolutely nothing.
Mm.
So like, nurture your soul, nurture your heart. Like, that's the only that's the only way that you can feel better when you're feeling so overwhelmed with whatever it is that's going on around you in your personal life or just in the world. Um, so it's like, yeah, it's just so important. And I don't know. I know that left to my own accord, I can easily forget to rest. I know that. I know for a fact. So I know that that's probably the truth for many people, you know?
Yeah. You said we keep repeating the same thing, but really that's because see, I know some of y'all at home right now. I know it. I know you're listening to this. And if you haven't already shut the episode off just out of frustration, I know you're listening to this being like, I don't have time to rest. I can't do, I got so many things to do. I got
You
kids.
don't
I got,
know. Yeah.
shut the fuck up. That's exactly why we're saying this, bro. Like, we're trying to take care of you. Maybe don't make it difficult. Like, maybe don't make it more difficult than it already is because we're acknowledging, yes, it's hard as fuck, but that's also why it's important. It is just as important. It is more important for you to take care of yourself then, if that's the case. If you don't have time to take care of yourself, that means it is time to take care of yourself. If you don't have time to breathe for 5 minutes, that means it's time for you to take 10 minutes to go breathe. Like, you have to carve it out for yourself because it's not going to be given to you, and you're not going to reach some like pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where, all right, everything is okay now, I can finally rest. You have to build up that habit. You have to build up that habit for yourself so that
Yeah.
when you get there, you're like, all right, I know how to do this even better, and I get to chill out, whatever the fuck. Like, create your chill out now, create your space now, create your taking care of yourself now.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the perfect moment. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That
I'll say
moment is
some of this.
now.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying the moment is now.
The moment is, it's the only thing that exists. Like, to get super deep and philosophical and shit, like, it's the only thing that exists. The
Literally.
past is no longer there. The future has yet to be created. You only have now. So, you know, please take care of yourself
What
now,
you gonna
friend.
do with it?
A lot of this, by the way, just to give credit where it's due, a lot of this thinking for me was very much shaped by the Nap Ministry on Instagram.
Mm.
Follow Trisha Hersey, the Bishop. We have one of her books actually. Um, and I think one of her posts was the one where where it made me question the point of rest because she was basically calling people out saying, why do y'all keep framing rest as this thing to do only to go and be more productive when you being is enough and you resting is enough? It doesn't have to be so that you can go do more shit because chances are the things that you're doing are only feeding capitalism more, are only feeding these things that you don't even like or believe in or want to exist, and yet you're part of it. So, what are you doing? So, go check that out. Go check out the Nap Ministry on Instagram if you haven't. Give them a follow. A lot of good stuff there that challenges the thinking that we
Mhm.
have around rest and self-care and liberation and what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out that the doctor that I mentioned about how
Mhm.
she kind of broke down the seven like forms of rest and what inactive rest versus active rest looks like, but it's all rest.
Active rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Um Sandra Smith, I believe
Sure.
it's Dr. Smith, Sandra Smith.
If the people at home don't know how to use Google by now, we can't help them. We can't.
Correct.
I'm sorry. I can help you with breathing. I can't help you with Googling. I could help you with both. I could help you with both. If you really need it, you know,
Yeah.
DM the podcast page and we'll help you Google the book because we care. Because we care.
Yeah. Like also, you know what I think about too when people go on vacation and then they're like, "Oh, I need a vacation from my vacation." And it's like if you feel like that, it's because you did way too much on your vacation. And I
Right.
get it. I know like it's not like every day that you can go
Yeah.
away and visit a new place. I understand.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just at a certain age where I'm like, I'll see the things, but I also need to rest, honestly. So
Yeah.
like maybe I'm not the funnest person to travel with. Like, but I am because I'm like, hey, if you want to go to 20 things today, go ahead. I'm gonna go to two and I'll see you when you get back. You know? Like,
As somebody that's traveled with you, I think you're plenty fun to travel with, actually.
okay, great.
Also, you said of a certain age. Everybody that's seeing this video is like, she's like 24. Um, y'all don't know she's a
Yeah.
vampire. And
I'm really 86.
right.
Don't I look great for
Nobody
86?
knows.
Yeah.
You look great. Drop the skincare routine. Um,
Oh, you know what it is? I'm not even lying to you. Rest. I swear, because I've been 85 since I was like 16, 17. I'm not even kidding. Like, I've been so old my whole life. And so I had like 1 year out of my whole life where I partied all the time. It was like every weekend, rah. And then that was it. And then before that and after that, it was like, yes, I need to rest. Like, oh, you're such a grandma. Oh, I guess I'm a grandma. Oh my God, you're so boring. I guess I'm boring. Like, sorry. Like, I rest. And I have a feeling that that's what it is. That's why people think I'm like younger than I am. I'm like, I don't have like this wonderful skincare routine. I just rest a lot. I've always rested a lot.
nah, you also have a wonderful skincare routine. Let's be super clear. Yeah. Okay. Using like the cells of plants and shit on her face and 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 I don't know, bug concoctions. She doesn't. I'm just making that up because I don't know anything
Concoctions.
about
Okay.
skincare like that. Um Damn it, there was something that you said that I wanted to touch on, but it was at the beginning of what you said, and now all I'm thinking about is your skincare routine.
Mm.
If only
Mm.
I could rewind. That'd
Let's
be
rewind.
nifty.
No?
Nope. I appreciate you trying though. That was nice. That was
I'll
really
try.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking about vacation. It did work. Wow. So magical. Um, you were talking about the people that go on vacations and then are like, "Oh, I need a vacation from my vacation." And oh man, there's a lot of things to say to that, right? Because usually that means they're coming back to work.
Right.
So already it's like there's anxiety about coming back. And then there is exactly what you said, which is just stuffing as many activities as you can because you don't know the next time you're going to be in Thailand or wherever. But
Yeah.
even that, even the fact that we can't travel around the world because the way that it's set up now is like everybody owns the land and quote unquote owns the land and you need passports for everything to travel. Like all these things don't need to exist.
Right.
They don't have to. These borders are not real. Um, we made them real and we keep acting like they're real. Um, so there was that, but also there was something about the I need a vacation from my vacation, but it's gone. I think it's gone. Or I think it was the same thing that I said earlier, which was uh just not knowing how to rest and going on this vacation and just doing like you have to do like we're here we should do as much as we can where it's like I love it. I worked my way to what I actually thought, which was you said people needed a vacation from their vacation and I thought of just vacations in general and the thought that I had was something that I've said before, which is I don't want a life I have to vacation from,
Mm.
right? Bars. Um We love it. Um, but that would be my ideal. Like in my imagination, that is the sort of life I have. That is the sort of life I want, the sort of life I want to co-create with you. It's the sort of life I don't need to vacation from because it's fine.
Yeah.
And we get to travel because there's no more borders and we get to go wherever we want because these borders are not real. And it's
Yeah.
lovely.
It's
Yeah.
lovely.
And
Yeah.
we'll do 2 to 20 activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. I think we're pretty close. I like my life. I think it's very I think it's gone in a way where I didn't see it going,
Mhm.
but it's in a good I think it's going in a good direction, you know? Like like I'm not ambitious about having like crazy
Stuff.
money, and it sounds exhausting. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just want to be happy. I just want to be safe, happy, slow. I want to have time to literally stop and smell the roses. Like I don't
Mm.
I don't like flowers, but the bushes, the trees, like I want to have time to stop and smell the trees. I love flowers. It's just that it remind me of death, so I like, I don't. But I just want to have time to stop and smell the trees and the cut grass. 'Cause I love the smell of cut grass.
I love what you're saying because in my head it sounds poetic. And so when you said I want to have time, I just kind of stopped it right there and put a period. I want to
Hmm.
have time.
Yeah, because it's mine.
Right.
It's mine. Like this is my life. This is my body. And it's just it really is. It overwhelms my brain when I think about the things that we have agreed to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, just thinking of everything from kindergarten to getting up every morning before school starts to say the Pledge of Allegiance, to going to school but never really learning anything about
Mm-hmm.
life and like how to manage money and
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Like you learn stuff that it's that doesn't help in any way, and then to find out that the stuff that I learned wasn't even real. Like it's
Hello.
like
Mm-hmm.
it's not only is it like fake news, but it's also like not complete stories, not the actual stories of what really went down.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much to then like corporate and like getting taxed for things, and if you don't have a job then we're gonna tax you, and it's like, oh my god, what what are we actually living in? What is
Yeah.
this that we're living in? Like,
Yeah.
and then there, it's no wonder that we don't remember to rest, and we don't remember how important it is for us to quiet everything around us so that our voices can be louder, so that our inner voices can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like since the day you're born, if you've been in this country for since you were a child, then that's what you've been fed.
Yeah. Everybody is more of an expert than you are. Is the lesson that you're taught from an early age. Like it goes from your parents to your teachers to professors to your boss. Like everybody knows you better than you do. And so you can't possibly know what's right for you. You can't possibly know what feels good for you. You've been indoctrinated since you were a child talking about the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, it's so cringe. Um yeah, so when it comes to rest, it's like you don't know what rest is until you're in a hospital bed now, having to be taken care of because your body has broken down because you're so stressed out and you don't understand why when you were a fully functioning human adult out in the capitalistic world doing your part, being a cog in the machine. Like, it's all everything in the intro of this podcast, I said, pulling at the threads that tie everything together because everything is connected. And so this is yet another case, another example of everything being connected.
Yeah.
Um, how do you rest?
You're asking me how do I
Oh yeah.
rest?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. How do I rest?
You flat jacks.
I think like I said, my favorite form of rest is doing absolutely nothing. So, um, just laying in bed or putting on like doing a face mask or taking a long shower, um, watching something that just feels good for the soul, nothing too brainy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Playing a game. Games are fun.
Games are fun.
Yeah. And I think uh I think about, you just said something about like how we were all indoctrinated like from basically when you're born, and it's like, and how we're taught like everybody knows more than you, and
Mhm.
having a nephew now that's almost, wait, is he almost 3? No, wait, he's almost 2. Oh my god, that scared me. It's almost 2. I'm like, he can't be almost 3 already. Okay, almost 2 is still a lot. But the point is, when I watch him, it's 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 such a peaceful, it feels so good for my soul. Like, I can literally sit down on the floor and just watch him for hours. And I think it's because he's so present in his moment, and he's not thinking about what happened an hour ago or what's about to happen, to a fault, because then they're like clumsy and falling and you're like, ah, but the point is like he's so present, and watching him, I just feel like I'm breathing every time I watch him. Like it feels so so good, and so I go. The point, the reason I'm bringing this up is that it brings you to the present moment, which is what we can learn from babies, from animals. Like they're always in the moment. And so when you watch, that's why it feels good to like look at a baby or watch a baby or an animal play, or because they're so present. You're like, oh, you're like, I want that. And
Yeah.
we can have that. We just have to work at it more, because they are not yet, they haven't been hit with all the things yet. So it's a beautiful thing to watch, and we can learn so much from them. So that's bullshit when people are like, I know more than you because I have 5 degrees. Like, you don't know more than my nephew, my almost 2-year-old nephew. You don't. And maybe you do, like book wise, but he can teach you a lot about life in general if you just watch him for a couple hours. Just watch him play. You can learn a lot from him, you know?
Yeah. Professor Baby. Yeah.
Professor Baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's interesting when you said it's something that we can work you said like work towards or work at. I was like, nah, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like more work. Is it something we have to work towards? I'm also saying that because I use that language. Is this something we have to work towards, or is this something we just have to put down? I don't know. See,
Mm,
I'm trying to find the best way to say it that like resonates and sticks and is like, yeah, that rings true. It's something we have to be.
prioritize,
Prioritize is good. I like prioritize. It's
because
important.
it's
It's very
already in
important.
us. Like it's innate,
It
it's
is.
there for the taking. We just don't take it sometimes, or a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. We've put all these barriers up, or we've been taught all these barriers. It's a yes and because we also then start telling ourselves those stories of like, I can't because, or I shouldn't because, or it's bad because. And that doesn't have to be true for us.
Yeah. Or I haven't done enough. So yet, so I can't
Uh,
rest just yet.
Also something I struggle with. The whole,
Yeah.
I haven't done enough.
Yeah.
But it's just like I'm just so full of magic. I just need it all out there. That's all. All right. No, you're right. All right, fine. Please stop yelling at me. Um
Yeah.
well, this was delightful.
Wait, I do have a question for you. How do
Oh,
you rest?
I don't. Oh, no, I'm kidding. I
Rest is for
rest
the
by
wicked.
the thing is I know that I have come a long way because definitely especially when I first started being a full-time artist back in 2016, I was on I was on grind mode. There was no open mic poetry event you wouldn't catch me at. I was out all the time, meeting people all the time, networking all the time. I was painting all the time. I was performing all the time. I had a shirt. Oh, I'm trying to remember what it said. It was like I don't remember if it said something like sleep is for the weak or the cool kids don't sleep, something like that. Like
Mm,
that was my mentality was like keep it was grind mode. It was I chose this path. I want to do this full time, so that means I have to go as hard as possible to
yeah.
make this dream come true. As if as if my dream couldn't last or as if my skills would no longer be with me for some reason. And and yeah, I felt that pressure and I put that pressure on myself and that was the mantra that I had. And then like a few years in, I was like, this is a lot. And working at this pace is not sustainable for me. And it doesn't actually make me feel good. I like running on fumes. It makes me resent the thing that I love to do, the thing
Mm,
that I know I want to do. Um, But if I'm framing it as grind mode no matter what, it takes the meaning away from it. It takes the meaning away from the poetry, from performing, from facilitating, from doing a podcast. I had a whole podcast before this one and I stopped doing it because it was too much and I started to resent it and I didn't want to keep doing it. Also, I had boxed myself in with that one, but that's a whole other podcast episode where we will talk about the other podcast. um, but eventually, I don't think it takes me a really long time to learn a lesson. I could be wrong, and that sentence could come and bite me in the ass. But but I think I quickly saw that it wasn't sustainable for me and that I had to do things differently, even with how like filled with shame it made me. Um, but I learned to slow down. A few years ago, I had started like maybe 3, 4 years ago, I started to take the month of December off completely, which the first year I did that was scary as to me. It was terrifying. 'Cause I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be answering emails. I'm not going to be getting back to people. What if somebody hits me up with the life-changing offer, the one that makes everything better for me? Never happened any December, by the way. Um but I think that was one of the first intentional steps I took towards rest was I said, I'm taking the month of December off. I'm not don't email me or email me, but you will get a vacation mode message back. Um, I was like, I'm not doing work. I'm not taking commissions. I don't want to go. I'm not facilitating. I'm not doing workshops. I am intentionally taking this time to do none of that, to just be with myself. Also, it's winter. I was like, I was in Connecticut. It gets really cold, brick even. There's snow. Like it's just, and on top of that, just moving with the rhythms of nature. It's a time to rest anyway.
Yeah.
So that was probably the first step I took towards resting, and that's something that I still like to implement every year. Is December? You ain't gonna catch me out here. Uh, um, how else do I rest? I rest through journaling.
Mm.
I like just like brain dumping in my journal along with, life stuff. But getting all the thoughts out feels really good. Walking is rest for me. Um Listening to music is rest for me. Um
Ooh, dancing. Dancing is rest for me.
do you?
Yeah, yeah.
You look so happy when you're dancing. It's my favorite.
I love it. It's just a space like no other, really.
Yeah. Painting, painting is rest for me. When
Oh, yeah.
I am in my healthiest relationship with it, then painting is resting. And we are taking some time away from each other right now. Um I broke
We
up
are
with
on a
painting
break.
for like a little bit, but right, we're on like a little break, but we still care about each other deeply and I will be getting back to it. Um I be wait, what did we just call it? Flatjacks? I be flatjacks. That's because of you, to be super
Yeah.
clear. Because if you weren't around, you would not catch me laid out in bed just doing nothing. Um, so thank you for the harassment, also known as support and love. I think those are the ways that I rest. Still rest. I do rest sometimes with when I can and when my social battery is up to it, by being with people that I love, people that I like, having a game night with the homies. Oh my God, I love having game nights with the homies. That's it's always it fills my cup. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those are the ways that I rest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I used to think that it was I used to think that it was like being on the couch and like scrolling on my phone, and especially when I was working at a nonprofit. And then I realized that I was like dealing with a lot of heavy stuff at the nonprofit and then going home and then being on my phone. and just seeing terrible stuff on my phone or just seeing other people's opinions, which I'm not always a fan of. And I was like, being on my phone is not it's not a form of rest. Even when I'm telling myself that it is, it's like getting so I guess in a nutshell, getting off of my devices is also a form of rest
Yeah,
because I realized how reliant I was becoming on them for everything, including my so-called rest. So getting away from my devices, taking a break, taking a screen break, um, was really an important thing to learn in terms of resting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's important. I know a lot of people that take social media detox break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important too.
So after you listen to this podcast episode, throw your phone somewhere away
Yeah, throw it out.
and then maybe don't maybe don't throw it out. But
Okay, put it in a safety box with a code, and only one person knows the code, and they can't give it to you until a specific date, no matter what you do.
oh, that's intense. But if you do it, let us know how it went. I am, well, after I edit this podcast and upload it and whatnot, I am going to be in Hermit Girl Summer mode, in rest mode, in off social media mode, and in Flatjacks. We will be Flatjacks. Um, that's a wrap on season 1. See you in
Woohoo!
season 2, friends. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks for
See you in
being here,
season
baby.
2. Thanks for having me, baby.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.